Today we're going to take a look at the art of effortless living. Now, does that mean that you got to make a compromise between taking it easy and getting stuff done? What if you could do both? Interested? That's what we're going to take a look at today. Check this out. Welcome to the Power of Quiet, where we show you how to live life in the state of flow, where everything can happen more effortlessly, while at the same time, more efficiently and more effectively. Now, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification, because every single video that we put out here serves a single purpose: to put you right into the experience. It's not a mental exercise. It's not a lecture or a talk. It's an experiential thing where you can discover this truth for yourself, that life can be effortless if you allow it. Now, if you find this helpful and this actually works for you, let me know by hitting the like button below. And that'll also help this get out, because let's face it, the world could do with a lot less pressure and a lot less effort and tension. Let's turn things around and make this place much more harmonious. It all starts with us. Now, before I moved to Amsterdam, I spent 6 years living in the San Francisco Bay Area on a small island right in the bay. And living on this island, it was the picture of effortlessness, because everything was just within reach. If I wanted to go to the shop, I could just walk out the door and walk a few minutes, go to the market. Or if I wanted to go to some bigger stores, walk a little bit further. But it was just like that. In fact, I parked my car and let it sit in the driveway for 6 years. I didn't have to drive anywhere. If I wanted to go into the city, I could hop on a ferry, or I can get on BART. And if I wanted to ride my bike, I only did it out of fun, to go up into the mountains and have a good time. Now, when I moved to Amsterdam, I put myself right into the heart of the city. And right here, we are actually in the heart of Amsterdam, even though it doesn't look like it. But being in the heart of Amsterdam, being in a major city like this, well, you got to get around. And the main mode of transportation is the bicycle. So riding a bike now, instead of being fun, when I got here, took on a whole different connotation. It was all about, okay, I got to run errands now. I got to get on the bike and, go to this part of town, go here, go there. And it kind of threw me back into when I used to drive a lot, way back when I lived in Texas. You had to drive everywhere, get on the highways, and then you're like speeding around, get out of my way, get a bit of road rage. I started to fall back into that riding around the city on my bike. I was in bike rage mode a lot of my early days here. It was like, oh, I got to get to where I'm going, and I'm just stomping on the pedals. Now, there were 2 clues why this wasn't a good idea. This wasn't a great way to go about my day. Number 1, once I got to my destination, I would just spontaneously burst out in sweat. My clothes would be soaked. And 2, I found myself like riding down the bike lane, and I'd come up on somebody who's just taking their time. They're nice and relaxed. They're riding slow. And I'm like, get out of my way. And I'm like, going around them to pass them. And as soon as I'm passing them, I'm stomping on the pedals again. Let's go on. Now, inevitably, going down that bike lane, I'd have to stop, and we have red lights and all that stuff for the bike lanes. Hit a red light, have to wait for cross traffic cars to go by. And as I'm waiting for that light to turn green, it was like uncanny. It was like almost all the time, right when that split second that it turned green, that person that had passed before glided right through that intersection. They didn't break stride. They just kept on going. They went right on by me. And I realized, wow, all that effort, all that stomping and huffing and puffing and all that aggro was for nothing. I got all worked up and in a sweat. And here is the lazy, happy-go-lucky person, and they're just as efficient riding and getting to where they're going. So I said, hey, you know what? I must be doing it wrong. Now, does this mean that everything has to be done at a snail's pace? No. In fact, this has nothing to do with taking it easy. It's not about slowing it down. See, that's going back into the mind. And that's what a lot of people would say. Like they'll say, okay, if you want to live life in the flow, you got to slow things down. You got to just take it easy. No, see, that's mental. That's just like playing a mind game. And that's just talking. That's what a lot of people do. That's why we do things differently here. Because, you know, for someone to say, oh, just take it easy, slow things down. Yeah, great. I agree with you. But how? How do I do it? Right? No, what we're going to take a look at is the real culprit here. It's that ego mind that's behind that drive, that's pushing. Oh, I gotta get it done. You see, you can go fast. And I've experienced this myself riding the bike. I can go fast. I can really push, but without that effort, without that, you know, forcing myself and having that ego drive of, oh, I got to get somewhere. I got to do something. But I can go fast just with a quiet mind and feeling at ease. And even though I'm physically exerting myself more in that quiet state of mind, I can actually get to my destination. I don't bust out in sweat. I'm calm. I'm relaxed. And I got there like that. So that's not what it's about. It's not about like changing your lifestyle. It's about changing your mind. You see, when I looked at myself and what was going on in my mind, that mental dialogue, there was that pushiness, this driving, gotta. And oftentimes, there was no reason behind it. It wasn't necessary, but it's just this driving ego force that was going on. It's very pushy and very uncomfortable. It was like pushing me around. And I felt like I was subject to it. I had to listen to that mind like whip me, like some sort of master. And also in listening to that mind is a very negative thing. I mean, just look at the way it talks. It's always very negative. It's always very critical. And I found that in myself just riding down the bike path and criticizing other bikers. All right, get out of my way. Why are you going so slow? Why are you taking up so much room? And criticizing myself. Oh, I'm out of breath. Why am I riding so bad? Why am I having such a hard time? Oh, I'm late. Oh, I need to do this. I need to do that. And just all these scary stories going on in my mind about, you know, I got to get this thing done or else, which is a bunch of nothing. It's just all crazy. So you can see that when you indulge your mind enough and you let your mind take over, it's a very negative thing. And before you know it, you're subject to this voice in your head that's very critical, very judgmental, always dissatisfied, always unhappy, always scared and worried. And then you start to realize, what do I need to listen to this thing for? But let me tell you, when I turned that around and quieted that mind while riding on the bike, it was a whole different experience. Because now I'm going through the city and my mind isn't driving me. In fact, it's nice and quiet, just like off in the corner, which leaves me just more aware of my surroundings. And instead of just being wrapped up in my mind and my own thinking, I can appreciate my surroundings more. I can enjoy myself more and realize that even going through the city of Amsterdam, even though this doesn't look like the city right here, the city is so beautiful. And it really is a treat to get out on the bike and run errands and ride along the canals. And why miss that? Why let my mind take up all the space so I miss all of that? And by doing that, I found myself more at ease, more happy. And as a byproduct, I found myself getting stuff done more efficiently, more effectively. Like on my rides, I would just get there fast without any strain or effort. And it's like, whoa, I got all this stuff done and I have loads of time left. Like, how did that all happen? I mean, and I look back, I can't imagine like how I could go here and there and back over here. It's like impossible to get it all done in such a short time, but I would. It's like time would collapse and solutions would come up. This thing that we call living in a state of flow, it's not just being relaxed and I don't know, whatever the flow means, but it's about having the universe come to you. It's about having solutions come up, just surface, without you having to work at them or dig for them. The solutions, they don't come from here. They come from like someplace greater. And as you do this more, as I've done this more, I found this to be the norm. And so this state of living in the flow and being in a place where things go your way, it really is possible. And I could show you how to start experiencing it right now. Now think about an area in your life where you push yourself, or something that you're doing in life, whether it's in your work, maybe your home life, where you got a lot of effort. It's just no matter what, there's always effort in order to get whatever it is accomplished. So take a look. Where in your life are you pushing yourself? And just think about that for a moment. And put yourself right in that situation. Like right now in this moment, you got to get that done. And as you're thinking about that, close your eyes for a moment and put your head down towards your stomach or chest. So you see, from the neck up, it's just noise. This is where all the thinking goes on, up here. But below the neck, in this area of the stomach or chest, it's what I call the feeling center. And when you close your eyes and you put your head down, it just brings your attention to your feeling center, your stomach, your chest area. And notice when you think about this area in your life where you're pushing, you're struggling, you're efforting, notice if you have a tightness, kind of a clenching feeling in your gut, in your stomach or chest. You feel that? It's like a tight contraction, twisting feeling. You feel it? Now, what I want you to do is open up an imaginary window or door right in front of that, wherever you feel that knot in your stomach or chest, wherever it is. Just open up an imaginary door right in front of it. And imagine that knot as like a ball of energy, all condensed up. But now imagine this energy, at least a portion of it, just leaking out this door, just moving out, just drifting out the door. Whatever it looks like to you, just imagine that energy leaving out that door. And let it go a little bit more. And 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 just let that energy pass through that door. Let it leave. Just let it leave nice and easy. And it's just energy. You don't need to make it out to be anything other than that. It's not anything that's good. It's not anything that's bad. Just energy passing through. You don't need to know where it came from, how it got there. It doesn't matter. Just open up that door and let that energy leave. And let it leave a little bit more. And a little bit more. And a little bit more. And even more. All right? Now notice how you feel. You feel a little bit lighter? I bet you do. And doesn't that feel nicer? And how easy was that? You see, here's one of the things that we do, and we do this all the time. We're constantly pushing our feelings down. And we especially do this when we get in this mode of, I gotta. Right? I gotta. Right? It's like we have this, I don't know, this kind of out of control sort of feeling, like, or maybe it's like a worried sort of feeling that comes up. And it's like, I gotta do something because I don't like this feeling, right? Because it's like a feeling of dread. If I don't do this thing, like if I'm not on time, or if I don't get this thing done, something bad is going to happen. But in the moment, it's like this feeling that comes up, and it's like you fight with the feeling, you're pushing it down. And this whole mode of thinking is all, in conjunction with pushing your feelings down. And it's you who's doing it. It's you has always pushed these feelings down. All these feelings, when they come up and you don't like them, you push them down. And by pushing these feelings down, what you're effectively doing is collecting them. Collecting these feelings that you don't like in the first place, which gets you to want to push them down more. And so it becomes a habit. And this is why, as we get on through life and get on through years, we seem to get heavier and heavier. It's because we just got into this habit of suppressing and pushing down on our feelings. But what you just did by opening up the door, it's literally doing the opposite. Instead of pushing them down, you just let them up. And they just come up and leave. And this is the truth about all of our feelings. That is that every single one of our feelings wants to leave. All these feelings that bother us, all of our fears, all of our anger and frustrations, all those feelings, they all have been collected by us. They don't belong in us, like all bottled up, and they want to leave. That's why they're always pushing up. They're like, get me out of here. I want to go. I want to leave. But like, no, I don't like you. And we shove them back down. But letting them go is just simple as opening up the door and notice the difference. Now, take a look at that situation in which you're pushing yourself. And see, you can measure the difference for yourself. Notice if you're as bothered or you feel like you gotta struggle and push yourself as much now as like a few moments ago before you opened up that door. You notice the difference? It might just be a subtle difference, like you just feel easier, feel more relaxed, more at ease. Also, you might notice kind of a mind shift, a change of perspective, even a realization of, hey, what's the emergency? What's the big deal? I don't need to push myself. I could just get things done and have it be easy. It's like a whole different outlook. And it's not something that you have to like program into yourself. It's not like some sort of positive mental programming. See, you're naturally positive. Underneath all these feelings that you suppressed, and when you let them up and out, then that positivity shows up. All the insightfulness, all the knowledge, everything good you're looking for, it's inside of you, but covered up by the feelings. And this is the thing, that when you get the feelings out of the way, and this part of you that really is nameless, it's not like, something from your own ego, your own personal drive to get things done. It's more of like a higher force, a higher intelligence, a higher purpose that works through you. This is what a lot of us, especially in the spiritual communities, call being in the all, being one, being in the flow. It's like the flow of the universe. See, it is you, but it's also beyond you. And this is something that you just experience when you get that negativity out of the way. The negativity that you created by pushing down your own feelings. Now, you still might feel an urge. You might not have gotten rid of all the stuff that is sitting there and activating your mind to continue that cycle of got to push myself, got to criticize myself, got to work harder, got to effort more, and everything is a struggle. See, all the thinking, it's all motivated by the feelings. You get the feelings out of the way, the thinking just corrects itself. It gets nice and quiet, and it gets tuned into that higher intelligence. But if you still feel a struggle, see, think about this situation in your life again that you have been struggling at. And again, put your head down, close your eyes. And is there a contraction? Just notice. Maybe a smaller one now. Now open up a door. Or open up that door even wider now. And just let that energy go out the door. And let it go even more. And even more. And even more. And let it go even more. And even more. And open up as wide as you can now. Let all that energy come up. And you could just pick yourself up and put yourself into a courageous position just by making a simple decision to decide, I don't care. I don't care if I get overwhelmed by this energy. I'm not going to push it down. I'm not going to throttle it, just let a little bit of it out. I'm going to just let it all spill out. And if it overwhelms me, if it's too much, I don't care. I'm just going to surrender to it. I don't care what happens. All right? Just let that energy come up. Let go of pushing it down. Let it all spill out now. And just let it go. It's just energy. It's nothing to be afraid of. Just energy passing through. Let it pass through. Just watch it pass through. And more. And more. And notice how you feel. Doesn't that feel lighter? And also notice if your mind is quieter now. If it's settled down, more peaceful. And notice if you feel more happy. And what you're experiencing is the real you that's showing up. Because guess what? A lot of us, whether we realize it or not, whether we do it consciously or unconsciously, we often identify with our feelings. A lot of us really wrap up consciously identifying, that angers me, I'm an angry person or whatever. But those feelings are not you. And get those feelings out of the way, now the real you shows up. And so this is something that, it takes practice. And just like anything else, whether you want to learn how to play the piano or ride a bike, you might not do it perfectly. You definitely aren't going to do it perfectly. You're going to fall over a couple times. You're going to have to work at finding your balance. But you practice it, right? And the same thing with keeping this door open. And that's the point. You got to keep it open. It's your decision, moment by moment, throughout the day, all day long, doing whatever you're doing. Whatever is on your plate that you have to get done, you have a choice. You could be in your mind about it, like all worked up, gotta. That's no fun. Or you could take a moment and say, wait, let's just bring my attention to my stomach or chest. Is that door closed? Is it all clenched up? All right, no, let's open it up now. If it is, let's open it up and let that energy flow. So maybe this is what it means to be in the flow. And it's up to you. You got to open up and just let yourself flow. Let that energy flow. And you notice just by doing it a couple minutes here, what a big difference that it makes. What if you did this all day long, every day? What sort of change would that make in your life? Now, like I said, this is something you got to practice. You got to overcome your past addictions with identifying with your feelings, your past habits of suppressing and fighting with your feelings, and go a different way. So practice it and share what you experience. Share if things change in your day as a result of this and what happens. You see, this is the proof. This is the experience that when you open up, that life still goes on. And it can go on very effectively with you having to do very little. Just open up that door, let those feelings just flow. It's not something that the mind will get, but by sharing these experiences and, and proving them out for yourself, then you get to know that there's a better way. So practice it and share your experiences below, and I'll see you on the next video.